Hey, good evening, everyone. John Henry Soder here. Welcome to JHS Interviews. Today, Cheri Paige Fogleman is back. Second appearance. I love her. She's so great. She is a fitness trainer and an author, and we're going to be talking about all those things and more because she's also an amazing actress, too. So we're actually going to be really diving in today. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to JHS Interviews, Cheri Paige Fogleman. And the crowd goes wild. The band starts. And Sherry walks in, and the crowd goes crazy.
I
How
have
are you?
beer in my mouth. Oh man, John, it's so good to be here.
So great to have you here. Thank you for coming back. You were one of the first. I think you were the second person.
Shut
I
the front
swear to you. As a
door.
matter of fact, I wasn't even calling it JHS interview. It was just like I'm
I do
interviewing.
remember when you texted me and you were like, "When you tag this, can you please include JHS interviews?" And I was like,
Right, because that was like when yeah, that's why, yeah, I came up with that like literally, like I think I was like I interviewed you, and there may have been one person before you, but when I look at my list of shows, you're the first one, like date wise and everything. So I was like, wait a minute, I think she was the first one. So, so thank you so much for doing this.
"This
Mary,
is so cool."
thank
Oh,
you.
I love that.
Hey, Mary.
I'm just a little bit sad that you're kind of quitting, but I know you're not quitting. You're moving on to you're growing. You're doing bigger and better things. But this it's the end of an era, dude.
70, well, not yet. 70 is going to be, I think your show 68, I believe, or 67, one of those. But I'm going to end at 71. Wow. It's actually 70, but I'm going to do one show to wrap up the series, and then I'm going to actually thank every single person that was on the show, all the 70 people, and then maybe just talk a little bit. I'll try to keep it to an hour, obviously, but that'll just kind of like bookend the show. Yeah, so this was fantastic, and I think the joy that I have that I've gotten from this is talking to people like you, and we don't really have this kind of time. Like you and I are sort of like in each other's universe, right? Because we see each other on social media. We worked together for years. We've worked on film stuff together, so we kind of like are familiar with each other. But we don't get this opportunity to sit like when we used to go to the diner. And
I know. And
know.
it's funny because I feel like it makes me sad. But like for the past four years or so, we keep saying like, oh, let's write a project together. Let's do that. And I'm like, yeah. And I remember texting you and being like, that I'm committing to that this year. It is going to happen. And then the year passed. And I was like, how did that happen?
Well, I had on yesterday. Was it yesterday? What's today? Monday? No, so it was Saturday. Saturday, I had on.
Today's Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl. I know.
It's March the 20.
Yeah, it's 2016, 18,
2012,
1970. I had on Daryl Denner, and he's a director, and I was in one of his last projects right before COVID, actually. That and so I was telling him about directing something, and I had that thing called Nelson's Women.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny. I haven't read it in a while, but I thought it was pretty funny, and I got good feedback from the actors.
And so, I have plans to be in that.
Yeah, you definitely. I have plans for you to be in it. And so I spoke to him about directing it, because if I'm in it, I was like thinking the whole directing and being anything else. So he totally agreed to that. So that was just on Saturday. So things are still happening. It's still going. We're still moving.
Just do it all with masks on.
Why not? You know, Nelson's Masked Women.
Oh, that sounds so weird.
That sounds like another kind of film. Okay, well, let's scratch that. But so how have you been? How's the family?
Oh, dude, I've been doing well. It's funny, you know, like still stuck at home. David is in healthcare. He's a physician assistant, and he works with COVID patients. He does COVID testing. So because he works in an urgent care clinic, and so he is, you know, he wears all the PPE and everything, but it still feels like a bit of a risk so that he has the potential for being having exposure all the time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it is our responsibility as a family to be ultra careful.
Mm-hmm.
And so we aren't doing a lot of socializing, out and about. I know a lot of people are, and that's great. And if they feel comfortable with that and they, are being safe, then that's, their thing. We aren't, but I'm really blessed because I can work from home and take care of my daughter. And she's 4, and that's not an age that is like she was going to preschool before this, but as soon as March had hit, we took her out of preschool, and she's not been back. And we were talking about it, and we're still up in the air about the fall because it's not the fall yet. It's still August, and things can change in a couple of weeks already, And so, so I've been really blessed because I can work from home, and I can train people virtually from home, and that has just been so outstanding for me as a trainer to be honest, I started training people virtually 4 years ago when she was born because I moved from New York then.
Right.
And I had clients that were like, I don't feel like finding a trainer. So
what's the plan?
Exactly. And I was like, okay, I guess I better come up with a plan. And we were doing FaceTime training over the years. And that has just grown since the pandemic because my clients have told their friends, hey, I train with this really great trainer, and if you can't go to your gym anymore, then maybe you should do a session with her, so that's been helpful. I'm forever grateful. And then I know everybody feels like they get all this free time because it's a pandemic, but when you have kids at home, as you're also trying to juggle taking care of the little person. And so I'm trying to write this book too. And the book is called My Trainer Says, and it's all about fitness advice from trainers.
Yeah.
And it's been this passion project that I've been working on. Oh, there you go. That's the little graphic we got going on for it. Passion project I've been working on really for the last 7 years. Mm-hmm. My plan was to have it written before my daughter was born, and I got about 7 chapters written before she was born.
It's not bad though.
Yeah, and somehow I thought oh well, after she's born, what will I be doing? I can get a lot written after she's born.
Isn't that funny?
And I was totally mistaken on that.
Yeah.
So I didn't get anything written for a while. And then this year, my New Year's resolution this year, I was like, this year, I'm gonna finish it. That's my thing. And I teach on Daily Burn, and they asked me what my New Year's resolution was, and I was like, I'm gonna finish my book. And then I felt like I had to, because I was like, I announced it
publicly. You gotta do it now.
Yeah. So
Daily Burn has a lot of followers.
There's 2.5 million members. So I was like,
so it's not like you can just be like, you know what? Meh.
Oh wait, you remember that? I was serious, but I'm serious. So I mapped out myself out a plan, and I was like, I'm gonna have it finished by the summer, and I was gonna write a chapter a week, which is totally overzealous, but it's still a nice goal to have. And it's just rough draft too, because you send it to an editor and they have ideas and then send it back to you. So really it's just like getting that first
draft done.
First draft, right? Yeah. So of course things are delayed, but I'm still plugging along. And from that, I was in one of the chapters, I'm talking about how it's really important when you're starting a fitness program to start slowly and to be gentle with your body initially, and to not work out so hard that you're trying to make up for the last 6 months or the last 2 years or whatever, what was that, John?
12 years.
12 years. Right. But so you're not trying to make up for lost time. You're going gently. And you see that with children when they're learning to walk, they try, a couple steps today, and then they do a couple steps tomorrow. And then in a couple weeks they're running,
Mhm.
and then you can't stop them.
Yeah.
but like, it's important to start slowly. And so I'm writing about this in the book. And then I realized there wasn't really a resource for that to
Mhm.
start slowly, because there's not, I mean, you have these like chair workouts that are marketed toward senior citizens.
Right.
And, but really people in their 20s need to start slowly too.
Right.
People in their 30s and people in their 40s, like, and they're not senior citizens, and so it's like, okay. And then there's like gentler workouts, like, I mean, most of them are just senior based, like silver sneakers or whatnot, and they're great. Or you've got like, meditation things where they might be moving a little bit, but not really, and it's just like, okay, like fitness slowed down for somebody who's new to it. I mean, it's a new language, it's a new experience to make time for fitness, and so because of that, I started the Super Beginner Fitness class, because I was like, I'm telling people they need to be doing this, but I'm not giving them any resources.
Mm.
So I started the Zoom class that I teach here from home, and it's 30 minutes twice a week. And it's like, to me, it's what I'm trying to do with it is to break down all the excuses.
Mm.
And so you can do it at your home. I am willing to give people the Zoom code for $0. I don't even care. I'm like, donation based, whatever. I'm not trying to make money off of this. I'm really trying to like help people and improve their lives.
That's awesome.
So no money, do it at home. I'm like, you can turn your video camera off if you want to. You can just watch in the beginning. If you're making the time for your body and for yourself and for the betterment of you, if you're just setting aside that 30 minutes in the beginning, if that's how you need to start by watching.
Right.
And then after you watch it a couple times and you get the gist of it, then you can start moving along. And you don't have to pick up weights yet. That is not even necessary. Just move around in a mindful way with me. It's not like, we're actually like doing overhead presses and bicep curls and stuff. And I call everything by their real name so that people can start to learn the vocabulary, But, and I tell them, look, if you need to move more slowly than I'm moving, totally fine. If you want to pick up canned goods and use that as your weight and resistance right now, that's a jump up from doing nothing. So great, So I'm trying to break down all the barriers that people come up with. Like, you don't need equipment. You can do it with just a chair. We all have a chair. Right. So
I love that. And it is one of those things that trainers generally don't, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that when you just said it. To go slowly, no matter what your age or what, because you'll see some trainers will be like, all right, you're a big guy, we're gonna go heavyweight, you could do this, and that may intimidate a guy, because he might say, well, I probably have to because I don't want to be a wuss.
Right.
And a woman is going to be intimidated by a girl that has a great body, is in shape, and she's like, all right, come on, you can do it, just keep going. But maybe they can't.
Right. Maybe they
They're
can't.
pushing themselves in a way that's going to not motivate them, and they can get hurt.
Right. And tomorrow, they're going to hurt. Exactly. Because tomorrow they're not going to be able to move. And when's the next time they're going to be able to move? And the point of working out is to be able to move better in your daily life. Right.
Right.
And so, like, I want my clients to be able to pick up their kids tomorrow and to be able to, like, brush their teeth tomorrow. Like, I've heard of people being like, oh, I worked out so hard I couldn't even brush my teeth. I'm like, what's the point in that?
That's not really...
Like, were you trying to burn so many calories, like, on Thursday that would last you until next Thursday? But there's this dirty secret when I mention calories that working out is for weight loss, but it's actually more about what you eat. And so I'm like, let's not focus on calories for working out. Let's actually focus on all of the other good things that working out does for you. It improves your cardiovascular system. It improves your posture. It improves your range of motion. It improves your skin look and feel and health. You know, it improves your bone density. It improves your mental capacity. It can work as a mood booster just as well as antidepressants can if done regularly. And, you know, obviously not every antidepressant works for every person. So it just like exercise doesn't work for every person, but it can work, you know, for certain people if done regularly. So there's all of these benefits to exercise that I think people focus on. They're like, I'm not seeing results. And it's like, well, are you getting stronger? Is your balance improving? Is your coordination improving?
Right.
Is your range of motion? Is your cardiovascular strength? Is your mood being boosted? Like, are you sleeping better? Like, these are the benefits of exercise, and these are huge, you know?
And it's also, you know, some people be like, well, you know, I've been doing this for 6 months and, you know, haven't really seen that many results, you know, but how long did it take you to get to the current state that you're in? You know, I mean, it took you probably a few years to how many donuts that you eat. So, my situation during my my COVID time, I gained COVID weight, is what I call it. And
I've heard you talk about that.
A lot of weight, Cheri. It was so embarrassing.
I'm sorry, John.
I had and it's never happened to me in my entire life because I'm you know, I'm always
because you're such an active guy, and you, like I know I used to work with you at Clay, and you didn't ever sit down.
No, it was like
what are you doing right now? You're sitting down.
Right.
You need a walking desk for your interview.
I did, yeah, exactly. I need to do this on the run. Anyway, our guest today is
Cheri Fogleman.
Please welcome Cheri Paige Fogleman. But you know, one of the things that happened was that, you know, obviously I wasn't moving a lot, but I started, because I'm home, you know, you go to the kitchen, you eat a cookie.
Yeah.
Back, you go to the kitchen, you know, and that to me was really what did it. And it was really embarrassing. I had a photo shoot that I've been postponing, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm thinking maybe let's move that a couple weeks. Is that all right with you? So now I did book it for the 7th of September. So now but I did get on a program, which funny enough, I had a guest on, David Guzon, that you might know him. You didn't work with him, but we were both in the same film. Unfurled. He played one of the detectives.
Yes, I do remember.
Yes.
Totally.
So he's actually a health coach, and he has this whole program and stuff. So he was on the show, and I really liked what he was saying. And so anyway, I've been on this thing it's going to be 3.5 weeks now, and it's been amazing. I've lost like almost all the weight I wanted to lose, and now I just need to start working out and start.
Based on food or activity too?
Based on food.
Yeah.
It's on food. Yeah, it is food. It's always food.
It's always food.
You know, people don't understand that it don't matter that you join the gym.
No, I mean, it does matter. It does matter.
If you go home and you're eating lasagna and donuts for
well, you can't out-train a bad diet.
Right.
And that's important to know. But it's also it's really important to focus on those good things that come from fitness. Like all these laundry list of things that come from fitness, from fitness. And I think arguably these days, one of the most important thing is the mood boost that comes from it. And I learned something new. One of my clients told me that her psychiatrist told her, so I haven't spoken to her psychiatrist to get to follow up on this, but he said that weight loss can trigger depression, which was like kind of mind-blowing to me, because I feel like people work to lose weight like it's their like golden ticket to happiness. But then weight loss can trigger depression. And I was like, that sucks so much, right?
Well, I have to say I don't really buy that, but I respect the doctor, but I cannot believe that I don't buy. I'll have to see the studies on that,
right,
and see where that actually comes into play. Because one of the things that working out does, and you know this,
but not working out. I'm saying weight loss.
Well, weight loss, but
yeah,
how are you losing weight?
Through food. That's
what I'm saying. But if you're like if you're starving yourself, you know what I mean? If you're like not eating,
then that's possible. That's going to trigger depression. Is that right?
Yeah, because you have to think about you're not getting the proper nutrients.
Yeah.
So your brain's not active properly.
Right. Well, what it made me think about, if it is true that weight loss triggers depression, if it's in some people, if that's true, then you have, because I'm thinking about like the cycle that people go through where they lose weight and then they start, maybe not working out or comfort eating or whatever, something happens and then they swing back up. And I'm thinking, is it possible that they're not working out or comfort eating because of depression? Like, is that possible?
They might also, and this is again, I'm not a,
that whole cycle of weight gain, weight loss,
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so anybody who takes my whatever I'm saying seriously, you're a dummy.
And I'm not a doctor either.
No, we're not. But you're much more qualified than I am. But like what I'm saying is like possibly because people sometimes they want to lose weight for a specific thing, right?
Right.
They have something coming up, and the stress of that, could actually, if they, most people that go on these diets, they gain it all back again, right? Statistically, I think I saw it was like 83% or something. People that go on diet. So it's not the diet; it's the lifestyle, right? You're changing your lifestyle. But if you're going back to it because and it's going to trigger in your mind what the other thing that you tried to do that you didn't succeed in, that the first time you tried that. So here you are again trying it. So maybe that causes the depression because now you're
possibly, because you're in that cycle.
Reliving this same failure thing that you've had in the past.
The thing about exercise is that it supports, it works as an antidepressant, right? So
right, absolutely.
So if you have lost weight, and then it would trigger depression if you're also exercising too. Mm-hmm. It's less likely for that to happen. Exactly. And so that was the nice thing that I learned from her. Through her was that exercise supports weight loss,
right,
and supports the longevity of the weight loss as opposed to the yo-yoing,
right?
That sometimes happens.
Yeah.
So the mood boost can arguably be the most important thing from exercise.
I would say that. I mean, it gets your blood getting into your brain, and I'm sure there's certain things that are kind of working up there that probably weren't working for a while.
Well, there's definitely water. Sorry, I drew a blank. There's several there's several hours post workout, and studies have shown this, and I've read about the studies that they boost creativity and problem solving in your brain, like your skills improve over the couple hours post workout.
Wow.
There's so many reasons to exercise that are not calorie burning.
Yeah. So this person says that they just they can
water cleanse.
Water cleanse, which I guess.
I hope that's not waterboarding. What is that?
I lost 38. Wow.
Kilograms in a month and a half. That seems way too much.
Yeah, I think also if you're drinking soda as a supplement for your liquids for the day. I remember talking to a guy once. He didn't drink soda like in a month. I mean, water like in a month. Like he didn't have water. He's like, no, I don't remember the last time I drank water.
Oh no.
Juice, sodas, coffee. Like all these little things, and I'm thinking to myself, your blood is barely moving. You are basically just have paste in your veins right now. Yeah. Water is definitely an important thing. As a matter of fact, there was a study, and I wish I had the study now, but it just came to me. But it was an actual study you can actually research, that they gave water to these kids that they were saying that they had ADHD or something, and these kids were drinking soda. They realized they were just drinking a lot of juices.
Yeah.
They basically just gave them water for like a month, and the kids kind of like snapped out of whatever they were in, and kind of were doing a lot better, just through water.
That's not rocket science.
Right, it's true, it isn't, but unfortunately, it becomes a wah.
Well, it's funny. I had a friend who wasn't drinking any water or hardly any water, and then his doctor was like, you need to drink water, like just like not water with something else, just water. And I remember him being like, wow, I can actually like go to the bathroom like a lot easier. He was constipated because of but he didn't really realize that was the cause. And I'm like, when he said that, I was like,
I didn't know that. I mean, I guess there, I don't know. There's things that are occluded in the news. They don't really talk about
Yeah.
that much. You know, I don't see anything really on it. You know, you may get a segment on Dr. Oz every 2 or 3 times a year. I'm
Yeah.
drinking water, and
Yeah.
people just don't.
But it seems it's kind of a lame thing, like getting enough sleep.
Right, right, and it's also like we are mostly water.
Right.
Our body is just generally liquid. We are just, you know, what I mean, we
Wait,
are
wait,
just.
we're not mostly Diet Coke.
Yeah, my aspartame stream is really getting low. Um, yeah, I mean, it
But
just
yeah,
seems.
water is super important, and it's
And sleep.
it's one of those things that doesn't really get enough credit or get talked about enough. I mean, and it's one of those simple things too. You know, it's like, and I was listening to your interview with Lester Green, and you're talking about how you had gained your weight during.
So apparently,
What's that?
yeah, apparently I talk a lot about this, huh?
Well, and you were talking about your schedule and how you're up all night. And I think when you're up all night, you're wanting to fuel yourself. And so it makes sense that you're like seeking those calories to help stay awake and to stay, like you're going for longer in the day than a normal person. What's that?
I had to change that. I had to actually get my act together on that.
On the sleep?
On the sleep, yeah, just because, like, what the hell was I doing? You know,
You're
I mean,
doing a lot of work.
I was working, but at the same time, yeah, there were other things during the day that I could have, put closer together, and then maybe go to bed a little bit earlier. I mean, this ends at 10:30,
Right,
and then I do about a half an hour of just the marketing part of it,
right,
and then I could start going to bed. But before that, I was doing something else. I was going on another app,
right.
live, and
No, I was like blown away by your schedule. I'm like, wow, you are.
I changed that. I go on that app earlier now.
This is the candle, and John's like, okay, I'm gonna burn it from this end.
Yeah, no, I don't even have the candle anymore.
Can I get another end to my
candle? It's just fumes right now.
Well, I mean, just moderation,
Yeah. And I think also that production for me equals morale. Like when I'm producing something, my morale goes up, so I don't feel tired. And that's one of my, I don't want to say downfalls, but I'm actually like hyped. Like when I get off the show, like after I finish the show, especially talking with somebody like you, I'm like all hyped.
Totally jazzed. Yeah.
I'm like, so yeah, I'll play for 2 hours on this app. I'll pick up my guitar and I'll start playing and do other. And next thing you know, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting up at 8. So it does affect, but I still prefer the production part of it. And that's where I still love producing. And if I have to work 18, 19-hour days, I still love that.
Right.
More than like having, a good brain power the next day.
Having a good night's sleep.
Then having a good night's sleep. Absolutely.
And just in moderation,
Yeah. Now your sleep, because you have to be extremely disciplined, because your clients, when you were at Clay, you were in there like at 5 a.m.
6 a.m. Yeah.
I'm saying you had to get up at.
Oh yeah, I was up at like 4:15 or so.
Yeah. So do you now with the little one? Do you keep that schedule somewhat like that?
No.
No, right?
No, it's funny. No, I know it's controversial, but like we sleep trained. We did we got her sleeping through the night at like. Well, it's funny because she was sleeping through the night at like, I don't know, like 9 months or something. But I was still really worried that she was needing to nurse in the middle of the night. So I would do something called dream feeding, and I would get up and nurse her in the middle of the night without waking her up.
Oh wow!
I know.
What a talent.
Well, babies, it's just instinctual that they suck. So I would, before I would go to bed at like 10:30 or 11 or so, I would feed her, and then I would set my alarm for sometime in the middle of the night to get up around like 2 or 3 or something and feed her again. So that also I knew if she was crying, it wasn't because she was hungry. And she didn't cry really in the middle of the night, hardly ever, which was part of being, doing the sleep training and having her be able to sleep through the night. But but yeah, it's funny because so I don't train people at 6 a.m. anymore, and
Right.
I don't, and she does sleep through the night. Like she sleeps a good 12-hour chunk now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and it's good for her. I can tell that she is well rested, you know, and that's a nice thing to know.
Yeah.
And then also me for the first time in my life, because I worked as a trainer in New York for almost 20 years. So I had 6 a.m. clients for 20 years. And you know, I was doing theater shows and dance shows.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to bed at 10. I was coming off stage at 10, you know, and in my mind, it worked well because I was like, you know, I'll do my work in the morning, and then I have time in the afternoon for auditions or rehearsals, and then the shows are at night, you know, and it did give me time to do everything except sleep.
Except sleep, yeah.
But I drank a lot of coffee in those days, and now I drink 1 cup of half calf a day, which is ridiculous.
Well, you never looked tired, which was always I mean, you whatever you did. I was hydrated. Well. Yeah, hydrated. And by the way, Dream Feeding, that's the name of my new band. So it's
Dream Feeding. Yeah.
Yes, when we play the Bitter End. Is that still open? No.
I don't know. Is it?
No, it's not. It's closed.
Oh.
Yeah, they're all closed down.
Because of have you heard? COVID.
Believe it or not, it's not because of that. It closed years ago because of.
Are you serious? Oh.
NYU, yeah. NYU like bought it or sold it or something. I don't know. They own the building, or I don't know. Some shit happened. So the good thing is that you're able to do, you know, the sleep training has given you a little bit more of like sanity as far as like the sleeping part. So it does provide you more brain power that you can focus on your training with other clients and your writing.
Yeah.
Is there any? I mean, I know right now everything is shut down, you know, with your acting career. I mean, not your acting career is shut down. I'm
Thanks,
saying everything else. Now that your acting career has been shut down, like everyone else, and curtain. So, do you focus on? I mean, I know we talked about it just a second ago. You know about that. You know you're still, but do you like? Is your attention on it like the auditioning, the monologues, the?
Not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. When I decided that this year I wanted to write the book, I actually like consciously set aside acting for this year. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, obviously, if a project comes along, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm writing a book. But like, if I'm not going to actively go out and seek work, which I was doing and I will do again. But right now it's like, you know what, I need to do the book. I need to finish it. Like my initial thought process with it was that I was writing down things that clients and I talked about and reoccurring conversations that I realized I was having, not just with one client, but with like multiple clients. I'm having the same conversation. So these are topics that I'm having to like, you know, like flesh out with lots of people have the same questions is what I was figuring out. And so I'd make notes, you know, in my little journal on the way home on the train. And my thought process was that I would get them all compiled into some kind of something and give it to my clients before I moved out of New York, before I left. And that's why I was like, I'll get it written before my daughter's born. And because I moved out of New York the month before she was born. So I was like, I had a little deadline for myself.
Right.
Totally missed. And then I was like, well, it's okay if I give it to them, you know, a couple months after she's born, like that's after I've been gone for a couple months. And now it's like, okay, it's like a couple of years later. But it's also turned into a much bigger project because I had initially made it based on the conversations that I had just with my clients. And now with Daily Burn, there's this community group of like, I don't know how many, hundreds of thousands of people on Facebook. And I'm answering questions on there all the time too. People posting questions to the trainers on the shows, asking, guidance and, thoughts on this and that. And so I'm realizing that this is not just about my clients, and it's about, all of those people too. And then people who just don't have access to a trainer and just can't,
right.
Like don't have, or only see trainers doing, like amazing feats of strength on Instagram. And it's, it's exciting, but it's certainly, it does make trainers sometimes seem like they're like a different breed of human.
Yeah, like superhuman or something.
It's like, okay, well, actually, they started out slowly, or when they were really young, and so I'm trying to demystify things, and I'm trying to correct common misconceptions. Like there are some people that really think that it's not worth doing cardio because high intensity interval training burns more calories, which it came out in the news, like high intensity interval training burns more calories than cardio. And it's like, yeah, if you are a more advanced athlete and you can handle heavier weights and shorter recovery times, then you can burn more calories
they left that out
in 30 minutes than going for a jog. Because basically a more intense exercise in whatever time is going to burn more calories than a less intense exercise.
Right. So
but if you're a beginner and you're trying to do a high intensity interval training workout because you're trying to make, have the most efficient workout in 30 minutes, you're not going to be able to do the high intensity interval training workout because you can't lift the heavy enough weights, and your heart rate can't recover quickly enough to make it worthwhile. You should actually just go for an easy jog.
Yeah.
And that sounds sad for some people. They're like, but 300 calories isn't enough, isn't worth 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, then let's look at the other benefits you're getting from it.
Right.
That you didn't have before. Better cardiovascular health, mood boost, better posture, better brain function, better skin health. There are all of these things. So it's a lot of misconceptions I'm correcting.
Yeah, and when you see something like that was reported, in the news or whatever they reported, it must have been CNN. But when you report something like that, what exactly goes through your mind? Like, is it an instant that you already know? Wait, what? Or was it something that you like? Let me research this to see what they were talking about.
Both, because normally it's like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Let me see that research, and you look at it and you're like, okay, okay, yeah. If somebody is an advanced athlete, and they do a 30-minute high intensity interval training workout, they're going to burn more than 300 calories or 400 even, right? Possibly, and that's great. Good for them. That would be more than if they ran for 30 minutes or did cardio, like steady state cardio, right? But that's a higher level athlete.
So they left that out somehow. Kind of a little detail that kind of was important.
Well, because in their mind, they were reporting, that, hey, high intensity interval training is a better calorie burn than cardio. And it is for some people.
People that are more athletic and
for people who are more conditioned and fit and capable and strong but if you are starting out, it is not a good idea to start out with high intensity interval training. It is going to bring you sadness and potentially reinforce in your mind that you aren't the kind of person who is meant to work out, which to me is the saddest, and that's the worst.
It is. And I want to ask you about that, because one of the things that I always fascinated about it is just the motivational part, because you're a successful trainer, you know what I mean? And so it's not just that people just want to train with you. Some people come to you and they probably don't want to train with you. They probably feel like they have to train with you. And now it's your job to not only get them on that gradient that you've been talking about, path that gets them feeling like they want to continue this, where they don't come back, or they don't wake up the next day and be like, oh, Cheri killed me yesterday, I can't even move, where they get that kind of thing. So how do you motivate someone when you're sitting with them for the first time, or maybe even trying to get somebody back again who's been canceling?
Right.
What's your conversation like?
Right. Well, it's important for people to think about their why. And it's really very little to do with what I say to them. I have also studied a lot of behavioral change, because I think that goes hand in hand with fitness. Sure. And everybody has a different why. And so to continue to focus on their why. And maybe it is weight loss. And if so, then I encourage them to work with a registered dietitian also. Like, I am not a person who can give you food advice. I do movement.
Right.
I do bones and muscles, and that's my specialty. I also, am very interested in, commitment versus motivation, like thinking about how to be mentally stronger to push through and succeed at something. But I'm not going to talk to you about your diet. So the person's why is really important, and to be able to keep them coming back to their why. And I really like it when somebody has a why that is connected to something beyond weight loss, because they can often see those results so much quicker, and it keeps them excited and it keeps them committed. And really, motivation is this it's this kind of like ethereal thing. Like, it's kind of floating around in the ether, motivation. It's like happiness.
Even the word doesn't even.
Yeah.
It's been thrown around so much that people are like, yeah, you motivated? Yeah, I'm motivated. What does that mean?
Yeah. And like, if you're waiting for motivation, it's kind of like you're just waiting for like
I'm waiting to be motivated.
Right. But meanwhile, commitment is something that is concrete, right?
Right.
And I say, you commit to walking the dog. Can you commit to walking yourself? Your dog needs to walk however many times a day, because that's when they use the bathroom. And that's also, you have a healthy dog, right? And I know so many people that are like, oh yeah, I water all my plants, I take care of my dogs, I take care of my kids, I take care of, everybody's got all their needs met. And I'm like, what about your needs? So I think that's an important thing, to have a commitment to yourself.
Do you set goals for them, for your clients?
I don't set goals for people.
You don't?
I encourage them to set their own goals. And sometimes, so as part of the behavioral change, like urging, I will send articles for them to read, kind of like to filter in their, and if they talk to me and they say, look, I need help setting a goal, I need help like deciding how to make this change happen, I will, send more articles, and I'll help them to once you've come up with your idea of what you want, let's change the wallpaper on your phone so that you have that reminder of what you want, that visual reminder. If you have a workout space in your home, let's put your vision board right up there in your workout space so that you have that visual reminder of what you are working toward. Right. So, but setting goals for people isn't helpful, I've found. And as as part of behavioral change, it was like the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing. Because then that's somebody else's goal, and that doesn't mean anything to you.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's not their goal.
Right. And for years I tried.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here's my goal for you. And I remember starting conversations like, okay, we're going to do 2 sessions of cardio a week. You're going to come in and you're going to do 3 workouts with me a week or whatever, there was a plan, and then they come back the next week. I'm like, how did it go? And they're like, not so great. And I'm like I didn't know how to talk people through and connect the dots. Right. But it was like, well, you told me you want to, and they're like, yeah, but things got in the way. I mean, that's the thing. I was thinking about this tonight, like with Super Beginner, with my class. I'm I'm really trying to whittle away at the excuses and make it more accessible. And so like part of it is like I want people to know that Super Beginner is the class for people who don't work out. Because I can't tell you how many people look at me and go, well, I don't work out. I'm like, this is the class for you.
It's perfect.
This is perfect. This is the class for people who don't work out.
Then all right, hold on. No, actually I do work out.
Or like, I don't have room in my home. And I'm just like, you need a chair.
I live in New York. You know how I don't have a chair in my apartment. It's too small. I
had a studio apartment in Harlem. It was pretty darn small. I had a chair.
Nice. You were living large.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. So when you get clients that are really just not following anything, have you had to like drop clients? I know it's not a fun
drop clients. I let people. I mean, I can't come in there and make them do it. I would love to, right? And I'm sure people would love to pay me to do that, right? But like, especially now, I can't come over to your house and make you work out. Like,
yeah.
I let people come to me, and that's gonna be the only way that people can.
That's the only way you can do it. You're right. Yeah, because first of all, trying to convince someone,
right?
Like, and I want to ask you this.
I'd be that crazy person on the street who's like talking to everybody, and they're like,
right,
pretending they don't see me.
I've been there, yeah. So when I want to ask you this because this is the world that you and I kind of lived in for a while. But do you think the health club industry is ever going to recover from?
Yeah, from COVID.
From COVID, but also from the idea that you can do a lot of stuff from home now. There's a lot of
you can. They will recover, not in the same way. I mean,
yeah, I don't think in the same way though.
I think a lot of industries are not going to recover in the same way, right? People are having to get creative now, and people will continue to have to be creative to attract an audience. Like, what is the movie theater industry going to ever recover? Is Broadway ever going to recover? Is people there are a lot of people who really get a lot of energy from going to a group fitness class.
Right.
I have friends who are teaching Zoom classes that have like maximum capacity. It's amazing, right? Because those people are craving the human interaction and the ritual of being there with other people. As soon as those doors open and it's safe to be there again, and those, and it's reasonable, it's safe and reasonable, they're going to be there.
Right. Yeah.
At the fitness club. It's interesting because with the Super Beginner class, I have a lot of people who aren't interested in being there with the other people. They want to turn their video camera off, which I've told them to do it. They also, a lot of them would rather have the recording of the class sent to them, afterwards.
So they don't even want to be there live. Good Lord.
And I'm like, whatever it takes. If you're doing it, sure.
If they're requesting it, that means that they are going to actually watch it. If there's that interest there. So I think what you're doing is actually brilliant because you're making, first of all, you're canceling excuses. I can't even think of one really when you think about it.
Well, I'm hoping to. I mean, I'm sure people continue to think of things.
I think that's what's happening. They're at home going like, I got to get more creative. How can I get
and it's funny because the tagline for my book is my trainer says is the title, right? And the tagline is the book when you have every excuse in the book.
Nice. Well, there you go.
So, but yeah, I'm hoping that people continue to throw excuses at me so I can continue to bust them down.
Yeah. And I think you're doing that. And I'm sure that as you progress the journey, you're going to find like, oh, this is something else that I can add to cancel another excuse, and you'll be learning as you go along.
Right.
One of the difficult things is, people who are not tech savvy, just in general, not just for fitness, but like, it's just so much. Yeah. But you're here now, so you have enough.
John, it's funny because you and I met and I was doing that web series. I was doing Hot Mess, right?
Mhm.
And people assumed that I had an awareness of how to do a web series. And I didn't know how to make a web series. I remember that we were one of the first like Kickstarter campaigns, and we had to both explain what a web series was and what a Kickstarter was. We're like, we need your money.
Yeah, that's so wild.
It's so weird, right? But like, and then I'm doing FaceTime training, and people are like, "Oh, you're like at the cutting edge." And I'm doing, Daily Burn, which was live streamable fitness, and that was 5 years ago when that started, right? Wow. It's so funny to me that I'm kind of like, it seems like I'm on the cutting edge of like technology, and and I'm here with you right now. I managed to like figure out how to log on to this link that you sent me. And I've got my Ethernet cord. I actually am plugged in like landline style to make the connection better. But like, I'm the worst. I'm a total technophobe. I don't have a tablet. I don't read books on tablets. I read books that come with pages.
Oh no, I do that too. Yeah, but here's the thing though. You have enough under your belt that you understand that can get you the stuff that you need to do with the industry that you're in.
Right now. Tomorrow it's going to change, and I'm going to be like, oh, I don't know. I got to tell you, I've never TikToked. I've never.
TikTok is banned anyway. I think that TikTok is something.
Has it?
Yeah.
They were like, Cheri can't figure it out. It's not worth it.
Pointless. We can't get her on. Cancel.
There's no point.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk to you about social media also because you use social media a lot as well. Social media has been changing a lot in the last during COVID, actually, during the last and even before that. People are realizing that their content and their views are worth a little bit more than what these platforms, which I'm not going to mention because I'm on them right now, but we're like on 6 different platforms now. So, but some of these platforms are really what's the word? They really have you kind of in a prison in a sense. They kind of have you. They have your content, they have your name, they have your images, they have all your information, all the stuff that you like, the type of clothes you like. You mention the kind of shoes that you like, and it gets sent to you. There's all this real strong control. And during this time, I've actually been researching a lot of different other apps, and I've realized that there's a lot of apps in the world, and there's a whole Cheri. There is a world out there of millions of people who don't even go on the one that we're talking about, the famous ones, right? They don't even go on there. They have these other apps with other complete names. They go live. They get paid. They get thousands of dollars in donations per day, and it's worldwide. It is like a phenomenal world out there that I just recently discovered and jumped in. And one of the things that I'm like passionate about is trying to give information to people where it can help them with their business and their life.
Right.
Do you, when you're using social media, what do you pay for ads, or do you still do organic? What is your take on social media overall, and where do you see it going for the fitness industry? Loaded question there.
Yeah, John, dude.
And go. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, I just joined. It's not up there. Am I allowed to say it? I just joined Instagram, like, I don't know, like 2 years ago. Like, before that I was like, I'm lame. It's, So yeah, my profile is not very long. If you scroll, you're like, oh, let me see all the pictures that Cheri's posted. Oh, that's yeah. I made an Instagram profile for My Trainer Says book because I'm working with this really talented artist, Christina Filler, who is just also a phenomenal human being, and I like to work with her, and I love her artwork, and she and I have she built my website, and then she's making my illustrations for the book. I want it to be a really fun, accessible book. So she's doing the illustrations, and I thought that's going to be a lot more catchy than just my like boring quotes. And so I was like, we'll throw those up with my quotes, and maybe someone will actually read them.
I read all of them, and I love the colors that you use.
That's Christina.
Yeah, the colors are fantastic. The illustrations are very inviting. They're not threatening.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really, because you get a lot of these fitness books that I've seen. Usually will have somebody,
Yeah.
And
that's the other thing, is that a lot of trainers' Instagrams are all about their sexy body. You know?
Yeah. And I watch them all.
Right. What'd you say?
I watch them all, and
but that's actually kind of it can be really alienating to a lot of people, and really off-putting to a lot of people. And fitness doesn't have to necessarily mean having a sexy body. Having a sexy body. I didn't answer your question at all about social media.
Okay.
But
no, but you kind of did.
But I don't know. Like, I'm the worst. I really am. And it's funny to me when somebody says, hey, you are really rocking social media right now. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I am trying to type a grammatically correct sentence while my daughter sings an aria. Like, because she's just like constantly talking and singing and dancing. And like, I mean, I know that this is also controversial, but we don't let her watch a lot of television, if hardly any.
Pretty smart. We don't even have a television in our house.
So you know how that goes then. And so she gets like extremely little screen time. I can't even talk. And so she's constantly talking to me and carrying on. And, I'm also trying to train people. And so in between training clients, I'm trying to like post something, and I'm like, please let that be grammatically correct. And I'm like reading it over again, double checking, and especially on Twitter, it's the worst. It's like Twitter, like let me emphasize, the fact that you can't spell a word correctly, and then you can't correct it because it's up there. It's like, edit, please. Anyway, so I have no, I would love it if we could just make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. I want people to be kinder to each other. I want people to be helpful, and I mean, that's so I'm trying to be that on social media, because it's the other thing I was talking to some friends of mine about since COVID. Really, I was like, it used to be that we knew people from by how they act, by their behavior, right?
Right.
And then there became this your social media presence, your social media persona, right?
Yeah.
And then now we don't get to interact and see the people anymore, so we only see the social media persona. Right. And so it's important what you put out there, because that's all people see right now.
Right.
I mean, I do feel like there will be at some point a non-pandemic world, because it's just like we're not all suffering from the Black Plague now. Like, there will be a future beyond COVID. I do believe, I do hope. I'm being hopeful.
Yeah.
But
last summer I had a little Black Plague, but it went away. It was like just for like a week.
You had a little Black Plague?
A little bit. So
really?
Yeah, it's not fully gone.
Did you have the dark, the bulbous spot on your body?
Let me show you.
Oh dear, no, John. It's not that kind of a show, John.
So, about go ahead.
No, I think it's important to be supportive, and to be uplifting, and to be positive, and to and I don't remember what your question was.
It's okay.
Sorry.
So we were talking about social media, and one of the things that it's more like I was framing it more towards business,
right.
because I feel that, and I read a lot of stuff on that actually because I'm a dork, but I do know that a lot of the really popular social media platforms that we all know right now are not going to be running the show in the next couple of years. You know, they're not going to be there's going to be a resurgence of other apps and other ways.
So thank you.
Of other ways of doing it.
Uh-huh.
Now, because what happened with social media was, and exactly what you just said, you know, this persona came up, you know, and suddenly people had this persona, this thing, you know, and even if you knew the person, you grew up with them,
Yeah.
you know, they're just like, that ain't you.
Yeah. Who is that?
You know,
Yeah.
so I've always tried to be transparent on it and just put my own dumbass out there and stuff. Because I somehow instinctively, I kind of knew that could turn into that, you know, just from seeing, I mean, the selfie alone is the most self-indulgent
right
moment in a person's life. And, and I've done it, you know, you're there and you're like, look what I'm doing.
We have selfied together.
I still have that one. And it's one of my treasured possessions.
We have more than one, John.
Oh yeah. A lot of them. And, you know, I think it's, you know, when you're with somebody, right, it's not a selfie. It's
It's a groupie.
Groupie. But you know, it's this culture that's kind of gotten a little out of control with that. You know, there's a company that you can pay with. I'm sorry, we're going past an hour. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep it long. So, yeah. If you want to keep talking to Cheri, please enter another $1. But you know, we've entered this this weird place where people there's a company that you can actually pay money to, and they will take you to a private jet with in a limousine. I think it's like $1,000. I think it costs $1,000, and they take you in the fancy limousine. There's a photographer, champagne. You walk onto the plane during this long red carpet thing. You get on the plane, and you got pictures on the actual plane, and you pay for that, and the photos, and you can put them up.
And can you put them on your own social media so you look like a total like baller?
Yeah, and that to me just proved to me that wow, we are just effed.
Yeah.
You know, effed.
It took that.
Yeah, and it's just so ridiculous. I'm angry because I didn't think of that business model first of all. But anyway, so
you asked me about the future of technology. I almost spit water all over my technology, and that would have been the future of my technology.
But I think it will be better. I think things are actually going to change, and I know that for a fact that it's going to be some major changes in the world when it comes to those platforms, and they are going to be kinder and nicer, and a lot more opportunity for people who pay attention, people who read and kind of know what the next thing is. You know,
well, can you share or you can't share?
I will share with you. I won't share on here because I'm on these platforms right now. And they have this thing called an algorithm, and when they hear your voice say certain words, they bring you down on the search and on the views.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Now they just muted you out.
Yeah, I know. I think
they're like, he's talking about it right now.
Somehow I get an arrow to the neck.
Oh no.
John?
I'll be like, John, he was so nice. He's such a good guy.
He's such a good guy. So, Cheri, give us final words. You know, maybe like a little bit about the next, in just a sentence. You don't have to elaborate too much. Just a little bit motivating for anybody going through some fitness things right now with COVID and at home, trying to. Where can they find you? Maybe they can join your class. Give us that information.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So the class is called Super Beginner Fitness Class. And it is for people who don't work out, who don't have fitness equipment, who don't have time, and who don't have money for fitness.
Wow, that's like me in a nutshell.
And who don't have fitness clothes and don't want to buy fitness clothes.
I wear this and I wear the hat, so perfect.
Moving is winning, John. And so as long as you're being active, and it's really lovely. The World Health Organization actually differentiates between exercise and activity. And it's really activity that makes a difference in overall health. And exercise is just it's specific activity done to improve one or more thing. It's like with specificity. I forget the exact words. But so moving is winning, and that is what I have to keep reminding myself of, because of course, you know, I'm writing this book, which means I'm sitting down a lot and I'm sedentary with that, and I have to keep getting up and keeping my brain active by moving around. And so yeah, I feel like, yeah, for me, that I just want to help more people realize that fitness is accessible. That is what hopefully is next for me. And teaching on Daily Burn is one way that I'm doing that, but I want to open up the avenues for other ways to make fitness accessible.
Yeah, I love it, and you're definitely doing it, and you're an inspiration. I want to thank you for being on.
Thank you, John. This is such a treat.
I just love it. I love talking to you. It's just, it makes me want to go on a film set and just have a ball for like 4 months on a feature somewhere.
Let's do it. And John, I'm so like honored that you would invite me to be part of your show, because this is something that I feel like is just so special. Like your conversations with people have just been so like thoughtful and interesting and thought-provoking and like, you know, light and funny, of course, too, and candid. And it's just really lovely what you're doing. And I know that you are making changes in people's lives too. And I think that is really, really special. And I applaud you. Like, this has been a really awesome project that you've put together. And I'm just extremely honored to be a part of it.
Thank you so much, Cheri. That means so much to me. I appreciate that very much. I'm not going to cry.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Well, we're watching videos of soldiers coming home, surprising their dogs and their children. No, I can't even deal with it. Oh no, Cheri.
I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Because I know how we get.
I was using my acting, John.
I tell you what, you got it. You still got it. You are brilliant. You got me on that. Cheri,
but when we were on the set together, I really was crying, because I'll just tell you guys, my thing is watching soldiers come home.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Surprising their families, I lose it. And I was like, here we go, John. If you want to see me, like we
actually send each other them just to kind of, I think I sent you one about the soldier coming home with his dog. And
it surprises the dog. And
the dog is like, I was just like, I was losing it. I was like, oh man. Anyway, okay, Cheri. You start bawling over here.
Because I'm a military brat and I grew up like that. Like my dad was on TDY, you know, and that was like a big deal.
So you have a different reality. I just find it just completely moving, just on what it actually is, you know. Yeah. So your situation, I totally understand.
And my dad was in Turkey for a year when I was a kid.
Oh wow!
We kept the Christmas tree up so he could.
Oh Lord!
I'm laughing, but I'm a little bit teary inside.
Sure, I'm sure. Wow.
So yeah, it's a for real trigger with me, because I'm like.
Yeah. Wow. I get it. Yeah. So Cheri, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you. Hang on just 1 second. I'm just going to close the show and I'm going to be right with you. But everybody, thank you so much, Cheri Paige Fogleman, for being on. And we love her. Thank you very much. Her site is down there, Body by Cheri. And I'll have all the information on her class and all that stuff down there. So thank you, everybody, or thank you, Cheri. All right. All right. She's so great. She's so fantastic. So happy that she was on. And I want to thank everybody for being on. We got 3 more shows left on this particular thing. And I want to thank everybody who supported this. It's been an amazing journey. And every show, it's just been like an incredible learning experience for me. So I want to thank everybody and everybody who watched and supported it. So thank you, everybody. God bless you all. I will see you all tomorrow night for Music Makers. It is Tuesday night. It's our last Music Maker as well. So a lot of things coming to an end. But thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. See you tomorrow. And as always,